Top 3 Scariest Town Horror Stories. Warning, these tales are not for the faint-hearted. Proceed at your own risk. It started with a whisper. A whisper that reached into your bones and made your skin crawl. One night, as you scrolled through your phone, you stumbled upon these stories, towns that were never meant to be explored. Towns where people disappeared without a trace, where the very air seemed to carry the scent of dread. You shouldn't have clicked, but you did. Now, it's too late. Story number 1, the hollow town of silence. It was a town that should never have existed. You won't find it on any map, and if you ask around, no one will ever tell you it's real. They say you can only find it by mistake, and once you do, you're already too late. It was said that the town had a strange quietness about it. No birds, no wind, not a single sound. It was so silent, you could hear your own heartbeat thumping in your ears. When a group of travelers made their way through it, they never came out. They were found days later, walking in circles with their eyes wide open, frozen in fear. Their skin was pale, their mouths agape, like they were trapped in a nightmare, except the nightmare wasn't in their minds, it was in the town itself. The whispers, voices so soft, so gentle, they lured you in, making you feel safe, like you were welcomed. But that's the trick. That's how it begins. Once you hear the whispers, your soul is already claimed. They say the travelers weren't the first. The town has been empty for years, but the whispers never stopped. The town is still out there, waiting for its next victim, and the worst part? Once you hear the whisper, you will never leave. Story number 2, the Curse of Elm Creek. There's a town known as Elm Creek. At least there was. It's hard to find, though, as it's been erased from existence, covered up, hidden beneath layers of dirt and fear. The locals would never speak of it. Not after that night. It's said that a dark energy was born there, a curse that still haunts the very land. Years ago, an entire family vanished without a trace. No one knows why or how. The house they lived in was found abandoned, the furniture still in place, the scent of their lives clinging to the air. But the strange thing was, the house was clean. Too clean. Every surface, every inch, spotless. It was as if something had been waiting for them to leave, and yet they never returned. The police couldn't explain it. No footprints. No traces of struggle. No sign of the family. But sometimes at the edge of the creek, you could hear the faint sound of children laughing. Not just any laughter, though. It was hollow, like it was being echoed back at you from the depths of a place you couldn't see, a place you weren't meant to know existed. When investigators went to search the creek, they found a hole in the ground. A perfect circle. Deep enough to swallow a person whole. They say if you listen closely near the creek, you can hear whispers, the sound of something waiting. Story number 3, the Eyes of Black Hollow. This is the one story you should have never heard. The story that will stay with you, no matter how hard you try to forget. There's a town, Black Hollow. It's been there for as long as anyone can remember, but you won't find it on any map. Some say it was erased intentionally. Others say it was cursed. There is only one rule about Black Hollow. You can never look into the eyes of the people who live there. Strange, right? But hear me out. No one ever looks you in the eye in Black Hollow. It's forbidden. The moment you do, you're marked. Their eyes, they carry something that no human should ever possess. Something ancient. Something that pierces your soul and takes it as their own. One person dared to look. They said their name was Sarah. She was a tourist passing through on a road trip when she wandered into Black Hollow. She didn't know the rules. At first, she thought it was all fine. The people smiled at her. They seemed friendly enough. But when she found herself face to face with one of them, she looked into their eyes. What happened next, she couldn't explain. The air around her became thick, like it was pressing in from all sides. Her heart raced. But it wasn't just fear. It was something far worse. A feeling that she was being watched, studied, like she no longer belonged in this world. By the time she turned to leave, she realized she was never meant to leave. Her body moved on its own. The townspeople stood around her, their eyes following her every move. And then she heard it. The whispers. The whispers from the trees. The whispers from the shadows. They had her. The worst part? She's still there in Black Hollow, living out her days in a dreamlike state. A prisoner in her own mind, trapped with the others. Her eyes wide open, staring out at the world she'll never touch again. So you've heard the stories. You've heard the warnings. And yet, something tells me you're still listening. You don't want to believe, but deep down, you know that feeling. That feeling of being watched. Maybe it's already started. Maybe right now you're feeling it. That weight, the pressure on your chest, like something's inside your room with you, waiting. Don't look away. If you look back, it'll know. We'll find you. Subscribe now before it's too late. or don't. But remember, just by hearing this story, you've already opened a door. And doors like that, they don't close. And so the nightmare continues. You've been warned.